Howdy guys and girls, and welcome to yet another yoga session with me in what I now like to call moving with intention. So today is all about the hips. Our hips don't lie. If you've been spending a lot of time sitting down, you're feeling it, you're feeling a little stiff. You might feel a little stiff when you get up in the morning. You might even just feel like you ain't got no range of motion. Well, I'm here to help you with that today. So we're going to warm up a little, get working into our hips, and really just loosen up a bit and get flowing. Alright, so to begin today, we really need to warm ourselves up before we head into this. It's getting a little colder here in South Africa, so it's not so easy to just get into what you're doing. So that being said, speaking a lot, let's begin at the top of our mat, standing in Tadasana. So you might notice that I've got two yoga mats here today. If you've got very sensitive knees, or if you're planning on stretching quite a bit, it's a good idea to layer a few mats, or maybe put your yoga mat on top of another mat or anything like that. Alright, let's get started. Feet hip width apart, head over heart, heart over pelvis. Let's pull navel to spine, tuck the tailbone. Stand up nice and tall. And then we're going to go straight into a Surya Namaskar. So inhale, arms go up and overhead. Stretching. And on the exhale, we forward fold. Release the head, the neck, and the shoulders over. So we're beginning with the knees bent so that we can warm up a little. Inhale, halfway lift. Long spine and neck. Exhale to fold. Inhale, plant the palms. Exhale, step back with the left leg. Lower the back knee. So it's a low lunge here, stretching. And then we step back again to plank. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale to cobra. So if you're still warming up, you can come into a baby cobra and work your way up from there. Exhale to release, press up to downward facing dog. Then take an inhale. On the exhale, we step up with the left foot, lower the back knee. And then step forward to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly roll up, back to our Tadasana. So we're going to the other side. One sun salutation is stepping back or completing a cycle of stepping back with both legs. So we bend the knees, inhale, arms go overhead, stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back with the right leg. Low lunge, option to lower the back knee. Then step back on the exhale to plank. Shift the weight forward, lower down to the belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, we step the right foot up. Option to lower the back knee. And then rock up and forward into your forward fold. We're going to do this once more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, catch a wave. Arms go overhead, reach. Exhale, we dive back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left foot back to your low lunge. Then step the right foot back. Shift the weight forward. Exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to release. Press up to downward facing dog. Inhale, we step the left foot up, low lunge. Then we rock up on the exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up, catch a wave. Exhale, down through the midline, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the palms, we step the right toes back, low lunge. Then we step the left toes back. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, all the way down to the belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to release. Press up and back to downward facing dog. Then we step the right foot up. Oh, yes, right foot up. Then up to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale slowly. Roll it up to Tadasana. Take a moment in Tadasana to catch a breath. You can bring the hands to the heart here. Wiggle it out if it's like the first time you're moving today. Really just have fun with it. And while we catch our breath here, in the mountain pose or hands at the heart, I urge you to set your intention for this practice. So mine is to really to get my hips nice and open, really to improve my range of motion here. Yours could be to just enjoy this time that you've taken for yourself. Once again, thank you for taking the time for yourself on the mat today. It's World Earth Day, so it's a great day to be practicing yoga. Then we're going to gently bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. And on an exhale, we dive down through the midline to our forward fold. Bend the knees generously. And from here, we're going to plant the palms, step back to plank. Then we're going to lower the knees and walk the hands back into our hero pose. So take a moment to make it a little comfy. Make sure that the head is over the heart, heart is over the pelvis. We're just giving a nice quad stretch, knee stretch here. If you've got very sensitive knees and this is too much, you can just come up, pressing the hips forward, starting to stretch into it a little bit here. Otherwise, if you're in the hero pose, we're just going to reach the fingertips back, open through the chest, and just maybe once or twice. On an inhale, we press the hips up, stretching out the quads. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, release. We walk the fingertips back, and then we move on to or into Sukhasana, or the easy pose. So just waking up here with a nice little stretch now that we're nice and warm. We're going to just stretch out the hips a little here. So I want you to bring the soles of the feet together. So how far your feet are or your heels are away from your body is up to your flexibility. Since we're starting here today, having the feet a little further away from you is a good idea so that we gently open up into the hips. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and start to open the feet like a book. Maybe give yourself a little massage. Immediately, we're just allowing gravity to take the knees, not pressing down too much. Then we find some stillness here. Hands are on the ankles or cupped around the big toes. And let's just allow the weight of the knees to open up the hips here. So you can bring the hands to the ankles, really open through the chest and ground down through the legs. Sitting up nice and tall, really just taking it slow. Remembering to breathe in every posture or every pose that you do in yoga. It's super important to remember to breathe. Don't hold anything. Once you feel like your hips have opened up a little here, you can grab onto the big toes if you haven't already done so. And then start to gently bend the elbows past the shins, rolling through the back body. You can allow the head to just roll down towards the feet. So I don't want you to press the elbows into the legs. Really just take the elbows past the shins. Give your body some space. If pulling on the big toes is too much for any kind of injury, you can just curl the hands around all the toes, clasp it around the toes. And when you're ready, we'll slowly, gently roll up. Grab back onto the ankles. Maybe this time walking the heels a little further in towards the body. Opening through the chest, grounding through the shoulder blades. And if you find yourself holding, try to release. So we're in the cobbler's pose, Baddha Konasana. And then to come out of it, we're just going to swim the hands to the outsides of the thighs, outsides of the knees. Just walk it in gently, cross the legs and come back to Sukhasana. Sitting up nice and tall, we're just going to do a little stretch here. Inhale, roll the shoulders forward, up and back. Then we're going to walk the left hand to the right knee, reach the right fingertips behind, sit up nice and tall, super gentle. Try to keep the left knee pressing down here. And on an exhale, twist. Try to look over your right shoulder. Exhale to come back to center. We go to the other side. Right hand goes to left knee, grounding through this right knee here. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, reach the fingertips, left fingertips behind. And on an exhale, we look over the left shoulder. Exhale to release. We're going to sit up nice and tall, roll out the neck. And then we're going to do a little baby cradle for the hips here. So taking it super slow. I feel like I've said that too much today already. Let's bring the left heel into the right hip. So adjust your right leg so that you're comfortable and balanced. And then we're just going to cup our left elbow around the left knee, lift the left foot up, cup the right elbow around the sole of the left foot, lift the foot up towards the ceiling, interlace the fingertips here, and hold. Try to sit up nice and tall, pull the shin to the chest here, you'll feel the stretch. This is a baby cradle pose. You can rock a little side to side, rock your baby to sleep. Or you can find stillness, trying to lift that shin up closer to the ceiling and pull the knee in as much as you can. Remember not to round through the back body here, but lift. Then on an exhale, we gently release and go to the other side. So pulling the right heel into the left hip crease. We're going to lift the knee up, cradle it with our right elbow. Lift the foot up towards the ceiling, cradle the shin with the left elbow. And every side is different, so as you can see, my posture on this side is immediately different than it was on the other side because this is my tight hip. So try to sit up as tall as you can. If that means you can't lift the foot up as high, you have to have it in towards you, that's perfect. Take it as it comes, be kind with the body. Rock a little side to side, or you can just find stillness. Remembering to breathe, allowing the body to open up for you, don't force it. And then on an exhale, we gently release, come back to seated. Alrighty, then from here, we're going straight into tabletop position. So let's take our time getting there. As I said, we're not rushing into things today, we're really just feeling it out. It's super important to be gentle with the hips. The hips are very important for your balance, very important for, if you're a runner, you know that hips are a terrible thing to struggle with if you're running. It affects the knees, it affects the balance. It just, if you've got happy hips, you've got a happy life. So tabletop position, pressing up and out of the mat, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, knees directly underneath the hip points. And we're going to walk the big toes together, knees as wide as the yoga mat, or even a little wider if you're capable of doing that today. Then we're going to inhale, press the chest forward, curving through the spine as we would with cow pose. And exhale, sit the hips back to extended child's pose, walking the hands forward. You can come up onto the fingertips to get a little sneaky chest stretch here today. We take a moment here to breathe into the hips. Allow the belly to really just relax here. And allow the weight of the chest to sink between the armpits, between the biceps here. And when you're ready, inhale, bring yourself back up to that tabletop position. So from here today, tabletop, we're just going to ground into the mat, press into the top of the right foot. We're going to lift the left toes up towards the ceiling. So don't immediately crash into the right arm here. Try to keep the shoulders grounding equally into the mat. We're just going to draw slow circles with the knee, opening through the hip, grounding through the top of the right foot, and reverse your circle. And then gently release. We're going to the other side, so pressing equally into both shoulders, into both hands. Ground into the top of your left foot. Inhale, lift the left toes, right toes up towards the ceiling. And then draw slow circles. You'll feel it in the glutes, you'll feel it in the hips. And reverse. Remembering to breathe, not crashing into one side. Pull navel to spine. Ground through the top of the left foot. And gently release back to center. From here, we're going to walk the fingers forward, tuck the toes, and on an exhale, send the hips back and up to your downward facing dog. Take your dog for a walk, press one heel down, then the other. Play with it here. And then find some stillness, some grounding. Pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Remember, the goal is not to have the heels touching the ground. It's to really just allow your body some space and a chance to rest. On an inhale, we ground through the right foot. Inhale, left heel reaches up towards the ceiling. I want you to open through the hips here, stack the hips on top of the right side. Bend the knee if you can. Then on an exhale, bring it up and through to your low lunge. Lower the back knee, top of the back foot comes onto the mat, and really sink into that front hip flexor. Pull the left hip crease back, front knee over front ankle. Squeeze the inner thighs together for some space and to take the weight of, or the crushing weight out of the fingertips. Then inhale, bring the hands up to the left knee. Find some length here. And then sink into the stretch as much as you can. Taking note of this back knee. So really actively pressing the inner thighs together. Press out of the back, the top of that back foot. And you should be able to see your front big toe. Pull the hip crease back. Then we're going to keep a hold of this front knee with the left hand. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, reach it back to the right foot. Option to extend both arms here. Then exhale, we come back. Release, bring the front foot. Then we're just going to roll over the front foot. Little hamstring stretch here. And inhale to lift back to center. From here, we're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, low lunge. Then inhale, reach the fingertips up and overhead, really pressing into that back heel, front knee over front ankle. Slight back bend, you can bring the hands together and exhale to frame the front foot. Step it back to plank, catch a vinyasa, shift the weight forward, exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale, we press up and back on the exhale to downward facing dog. Take your dog for a walk. Then we ground through the left heel. Inhale, right foot reaches up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. Then open up through the hips here, stacking them. Bend the knee. Then on an exhale, bring it up through center to your low lunge. Lower the back knee, top of the foot comes onto the mat. So really take your time here to just adjust as you have to. You'll feel what your body needs. If your lunges aren't very deep today, your hips are super tight, give it time. Maybe do this once or twice. Let's breathe into it. Pull the right hip crease back. Press into the top of that back foot. Hug the inner thighs together, navel to spine. And when you're ready, you can lift the hands up to the right knee. Really still pulling the hip crease back and deepening into that lunge. Happy hips, happy life, eh? Then we're going to keep a hold of that front knee. Inhale, stand a little taller. Then reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale to rotate it back to the right foot. Option to extend both arms here. Then we bring it back to center, frame the front foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up to your low lunge, pressing into the back heel, hug the inner thighs together, inhale, bring the hands up, high lunge. Option to bring the fingertips together, exhale, release it back down, we step back to plank. Little vinyasa, shift the weight forward, exhale all the way down to the belly. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to release. And we press back up to tabletop position. From here, walk the knees as wide as the yoga mat. Inhale to tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling, chest radiates forward. And exhale, sink the hips back, fingertips forward. Really sinking into the extended child's pose here. Option to widen the knees so that you get the maximum stretch here. Just going to turn this thumb a little crazy. Then inhale, make your way back to your tabletop position. From here, we're going to walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, exhale to downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to ground through the right foot. Inhale, left toes reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, step up to your low lunge. This time in your low lunge, you're going to walk the left foot to the outside of the yoga mat. So further away from the center, and bring the hands down in its space. So we're in lizard pose here. Pressing through that back heel. Once you're in lizard, you feel like you can go a little deeper. You can try and lower down onto the elbows. Or you can stay lifted. And if you feel the need to roll onto the outside of this back foot, you can do so. And when you're ready, we're going to walk the foot back to center. Then step back to plank. And exhale to downward facing dog. We're going to ground through the left heel. Inhale, reach the right fingertips, the right toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it through, step up to your low lunge. Walk the foot to the outside of the yoga mat. And we'll take a moment in a lizard here. Press into the back heel. Option to roll out on this foot. And you can come down onto the elbows if that helps. Option to lower the back knee if any of this is too stretchy for you. Wherever you are, remember to breathe. Then heel toe the foot back to center, frame the front foot, step back to plank, we take a vinyasa, shift the weight forward, exhale all the way down to the belly, inhale to cobra, exhale to release, press up to your tabletop. And then we're going to go into a pigeon. So it all depends on your range of motion here today. If your hips are not super warmed up just yet, or you're not super happy with how flexible you are, warmed up you are at the moment, then you can go from downward dog, three-legged dog, step up to lunge and go into your pigeon. Or you can go straight from the tabletop position. So if you go straight from the tabletop position, I'm just going to escape the sun here a little. If you go straight from tabletop, you're going to reach the left heel forward, walk the knee up and into your pigeon. But if that's not the case for you today, if you're not quite there yet, you can go from downward facing dog, three-legged dog. Let's begin with the right leg. Three-legged dog, exhale all the way up into your low lunge, where from here you'll lower the back knee, walk it back, walk the foot over towards the left hand, lower the knee where you are, and settle into your pigeon. So, very important when you come into the pigeon pose, however you do it, make sure that you're not rolling onto the outer hip or onto the glute on the right side. Keep it lifted, otherwise you're not stretching through the hip here. So we walk the foot up as close to the left hand as possible without hurting ourselves. We walk the back knee as far back as we can comfortably so that the knee doesn't feel like it's rolling around or taking too much pressure. Then we inhale, press up and out of the mat, find length, open up through the chest, allow yourself to sink into that left hip flexor. Then exhale, we lower down onto the elbows. If this is crazy and you're like, Alicia, never ever ever in my life, you can stay up on the palms here. Just make yourself comfortable so that you're not shaking around here. And if the elbows are not enough for you, you can lower all the way down onto the hands or stretch it forward, bring the forehead onto the mat. Personally, I like staying up here on the elbows because it means that I can hold this a little longer, stretch a little deeper. Or if I'm really feeling like I want to dig into that hip flexor, I'll stay up on the hands and actively press down into the hip. So it all depends on where you're at or what you're feeling today. Wherever you are, I want you to slowly make your way back onto the palms. Then from here we're going to walk the right palm to center. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. Then look back towards the back foot and bring the left toes up towards the ceiling. We're going to grab onto the inside of the back leg if that's possible for you. If you want to try it but you don't have the flexibility, you can loop a strap around the foot and pull it towards you. So all depending on where you're at. Then we can release. And then slowly we're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, walk it back. So if you came from downward facing dog, you'll go back to downward dog or to tabletop if that's where you're at today. Now we're going to go to the other side, round through the right heel, lift the left toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, step it up to your low lunge, lower the back knee, walk the knee back. Then we heel toe the left foot over towards the right hand and lower the left knee. Settle into it here, readjust as you have to. Remember not to roll over on the hip. If you're struggling to keep yourself from rolling over onto the hip, if you've got a yoga block or a book or another rolled up mat, you can just prop it under the left glute to keep you lifted. Then inhale, we press up and out of the fingertips, open through the chest. Then on the exhale, lower either onto the palms or onto the elbows. And let's maximize our pigeon stretch here. Remembering to breathe. And if you feel like you can take it to the next level, you can lower down even more. As long as you're not shaking and holding any tension in your shoulders and your face and your spine here. Wherever you are, press up back onto the palms. Then we're going to walk the left fingers or the left palm to center. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, look back to the right foot. And then lift the right toes up towards the ceiling. If you can, grab onto it, pull the foot in towards you. Little quad stretch here. Really sinking into this hip. And exhale, re-release. Walk the hands back forward, lift the back knee, and come back to tabletop position. We're going to walk the feet together and sit back into our hero pose. Take a moment. Then from here, walk the knees as wide as the yoga mat. Big toes together, knees can be wider. Or if you're ready to take it to the next level here, you can walk the feet apart and come into the froggy stretch. But if your knees aren't there, if your hips aren't there, we stay in this extended child's pose, walking the hands forward as we sink a little deeper. Allow yourself to completely relax into this posture. Try not to hold too much in the hips. Allow it to really just open up here. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way back to tabletop. And then from there, swing the legs to the side, come through to Sukhasana or the easy pose. We're going to do one last posture here, and then I'll bid you adieu. So we're going to bring the legs into fire log pose. If you've got super, super tight hips, take this very, very slow. We're going to bring the knees or the legs or the shins stacked on top of each other as if you're creating fire logs. So it's not just simply legs crossed. You're going to bring the left ankle on top of the right knee and the right ankle directly underneath the left knee. So you're creating a triangle between the thighs and the calves here. So for some people this is impossible. You're going to be up here. I want you to take your time. If this is where you're at, if this is how your hip is feeling today, stay there, take it slow. You can lean back a little and just gently, super gently, just allow the weight of your hand to press against the knee here. But always don't squeeze it away. If you don't crank against that hip, I don't want you to hurt yourself. If you can come into the fire log pose, I urge you to sit up nice and tall, and then just allow the weight of the knee to do its job. Much like the others, if you're not here just yet, you can also reach back and just gently allow the weight of the left palm to just press against the knee. You'll feel that little activation does wonders for the hips. Active feet here, so flexing the toes. And then we release. Take a moment to come back to center. Take a breath. And then we're going to switch. So gently take your time. Switch so that the opposite ankle comes on top of the left knee, right knee on top of the left ankle, creating your V. Active feet. Each side is different, so you can see that my tight hip, my right hip, the knee is not coming all the way down to the ankle here. But we're not forcing. You might be looking like this. If even this is too much for you, you can just come into Gomukhs the legs and just stretch it out there as well. Gently lean back, allow the weight of the hand to just press against the knee. Active feet. Super gentle here, not hammering down on that knee. It's literally just the motion of the hand coming onto the knee. Creates that little stretch activation. And then we release, come back to center, take a breath. And release. We're going to go into our baby cradle pose one last time. So, cradle in the baby. We lift the left ankle into the right hip. Frame your baby, really cuddle it. Bring it into the elbow creases. And we rock a little side to side, lulling the baby to sleep. Try to lift the shin up towards the ceiling as much as you can. And then gently release your baby and go to the other side. Bring the left heel into the right hip crease. Set your baby up for a safe journey into the elbow creases. Try to lift the shin up as much as you can towards the ceiling. Sit up nice and tall, chest forward. Rock your baby. Little side to side. You can static hold if that's good for you. And then we release. Alrighty, my yogi friends, with that today, I want to thank you for joining me for this practice. If you feel like your hips are still not free, or like your hips are still lying, then you can do this practice again, or take a few of the poses that we did throughout this practice. You are nice and warm. You can go settle into some pigeons some more, or you can cradle the baby, or do a few more low lunges or lunge stretches. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you're all staying safe and happy. I look forward to seeing you next week, and remember to always love, be kind, and do good. Thanks, guys.